A massive earthquake hits along the coast in Korea, and there is a village called Haiwan that is affected by this greatly and is thrust into chaos. The water temperature surrounding the village rises, a mysterious island thrusts up out of the sea, and then a plague hits the village where it starts to turn the villagers into fish-type people. The book we're going to talk about today is A Plagued Sea by Kim Bo-young, and this was translated by Sophie Bowman. So the story follows this woman, Moo-young, who is a bodyguard, and she's with her niece, Hyun, and they are going to the village of Haiwan, and they're going to, I think they're just going there for vacation. The parents of Hyun were supposed to follow them shortly thereafter, and as they're sitting at this train station, and she gets this disaster alert that there's been a 6.2 magnitude earthquake that's about 10 kilometers from the village that they're going to. The residents there have been urged to evacuate. They say there's going to be aftershocks. The water temperature is like rapidly rising, and there's the possibility of volcanic eruption. And this is happening just as they're supposed to board the train. When they're in the train station too, there's this woman there with her husband, and he looks like a big, giant, evil sack of crap. And she seems very timid, doting, and I don't even remember what happened. I think she brought him some food and it wasn't exactly what he wanted, and he like punches her in the head, and then she just kind of like shoves it off, and then she goes to the bathroom, and Moo-young is like, what in the F? So she follows her to the bathroom, and she's not really sure what she's gonna say, but then she's like, here's my business card in case you ever need, any of my services. I'm a bodyguard, this, that, and the other. And that woman is this woman, Yoon Hui, who also lives in the village that is where they're going. Okay, so at first she gets this alert, and she's like, oh, not quite sure that they're gonna board the train, but then her niece like runs ahead, and she's trying to get through the crowd to get to her niece, and then she's like, whatever, might as well just go and see what happens. It can't be that bad, right? So her niece is on the train. She's like, hurry. So Moo-young gets through the crowd, and then they get on the train and they go to the village. And then 3 years later, everything's all messed up. Like I said, the sea temperatures rose, and basically all the area around the village is like a stagnant, viscous swamp. The fish all died, and weird stuff seemed to happen to the village people. Some people started to get like weird spots on their skins, and eventually started transforming into these weird like fish type creatures with really long limbs, and their eyes bugged out, and like bumps all over their skin. And then they almost start speaking in a different language at some point. Moo-young at this point is she's in charge of basically if any of the people try to leave the village, because the government has put the village in quarantine so that this plague or virus or whatever it is, because they're not quite sure what it is yet, doesn't spread. She has to go hunt those people down and bring them back to the village by whatever means. And she has these like, I don't know what they are, police baton things that like if for protection, if these things attack her, which they do, and she tries to drag them back to the village, so she'll have to like whack them and whatnot. So she's kind of violent towards them, which sucks. It almost seems like at some point, the village, the people, they take care of their families and the family members that have turned into these strange creatures, and they seem to love them and care for them, no matter how weird and effed up they look. So it seems also there was this professor, and that when he turned, he created a community for these people who are going through this and who have transformed into these weird, strange creatures. But there's also rumors too that when the earthquake hit and the sea temperature rose, stuff came up from the sea, and there was a volcanic eruption and whatnot. And this island came up that's like not too far off the shore. And then Moo-young has almost thought she's seen something out there on the island, but she wasn't sure if she actually saw what she thought she was seeing, and she's discards it and doesn't believe it. And then there's also rumors too that like maybe some sort of creatures washed up when this whole seismic event happened. And so you have that. And then you have a couple other people. So there's not really any police because they kind of police themselves. And there's one guy who he's been wearing a hazmat suit the whole time. He doesn't go out, but he's also kind of in charge of the village. And the only reason they're even able to get supplies is because that guy, like, he's the only one allowed to leave because he took it very seriously and had a hazmat suit on and whatnot. And So that's how they get supplies. You don't want to eat the fish that are coming from the coast. They just wash up on the shore dead anyways. The seagulls that end up eating them, they get all diseased too and effed up, and they really don't know how this is spreading or what's going on. And Mu Young is one of the people that didn't really get transformed by it. She has like some spots on her skin and stuff. Like some people got it and then others didn't. They don't know why. Some are immune and some are not. And then eventually this guy comes to town, Ha Woo Jin, and he is like an infectious disease expert apparently. And he has all these like government credentials and stuff. And he doesn't believe it's airborne. He just like waltzes into town. He doesn't have any protective gear on at all, which seems very stupid if you don't know. And he's like, well, I think it's this, I'm pretty sure it's bacterial and it's not a virus and this, that, and the other. And then like when he sees these creatures, he's like, they're evil and they're demons and like, they don't want this being reported back to the government because then, government will probably come in and like bomb the dang village or whatever, or come in and, I don't know, what would they call it? Euthanizing the whole population there. So this guy is a problem. Also, this book was sent to me by the publisher, so this is my honest thoughts on it. I love underwater horror. Horror by the sea, horror in the sea, things that come up from the sea. Like, I don't know what it is about that. It's creepy. There are so many weird things down there. It's like space, but on Earth, The emotional quality of this, too, is just, it kind of blew me away. It's a short little novella. It's like 100 pages. Mu Young, she has just been kind of, she has to stay in the village. She can't go anywhere. This is her life now. She tracks down these people who are trying to break quarantine. And then you have this guy who comes and starts disrupting everything. They have a way of life. The villagers have like kind of like a good existence with each other. Mu Young doesn't realize it, but she's kind of the enemy because of the way she's treating these people. And then you have the other woman that she had met at the train station, the woman Yoon Hui. Her husband ended up getting the East Sea disease. So she's been living with one of the creature type people. She's actually one of the reasons that Mu Young hasn't had any like bad interactions with the creature type people because she had looked out for her at that one point. So Yoon Hui is also looking out for her and trying to hint to her that maybe you shouldn't be, doing what you're doing. I don't even know. Is she even getting paid for it? I don't know that they even have monetary things at this point with how the village is going. But yeah, it's a story of isolation horror. It's very Cthulhu-esque as you get into it. I'm just honestly just giving you the gist of it. It gets deeper. There's more layers. It's very emotional. There's some things I didn't expect to happen that happened. Yeah, what happens to this guy who like comes into the town and he's all like, this is what I think, and this, evil demons. Like, what happens to him? Do you think things go well for him? I don't know. And what happens to Mu Young? Is she gonna live through this when she's kind of like the enemy? I don't know. You'll have to read it to find out. It's quite the tale. Like I said, this is the kind of horror that I absolutely love. It's got weird Cthulhu things going on. Remember I said that weird island popped up out of the sea and it looked like maybe there was something on the island. I don't know. It's beautifully written too. It's very picturesque and full of imagery. If you like underwater horror, if you like Lovecraftian type stories, it's truly fantastic. I would highly, highly recommend it. I honestly think this one's going to be in my top 10 horror of the year. It got me emotionally as you get into the dynamics of the relationship between the villagers who didn't turn into fish people and then the ones that are kind of like these weird underwater creature people that are living on the land now. And it's sad, and there's moments of sweetness, and there's moments of super weirdness and all kinds of things. So if any of that sounds good to you, I would say definitely check it out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.